Terrans are not the strongest, they are not the fastest, they are not the smartest, but a Terran will make friends with practically anything that moves and several things that don't. A half-wholesome, half-emotionally scaring, half-self-improvement writing project. Half mathematics fail due to there being too many halves. Start here with The Exception. One-shots. These are individual stories that jump around the timeline, designed to require only minimal knowledge of the setting. Timeline 2047 Mary is accidentally created, the first confirmed AI from a program originally designed to be a teaching assistant. 2051 AI creation is replicated and confirmed, more AI are created slowly. 2069 technology explodes due to the addition of AI. Discussions about the personage and potential damage of AI continues, although the overall benefits of the new research limits any real attempts of destroying AI. 2075. Metagel. A nanobot-laced medical solution is created. While initially limited in scope and availability, over the next 30 years this makes anything that doesn't instantly kill a human survivable. Genetic modification starts to come into play, and the first uplift is created, modification of a German Shepherd in order to be sapient. 2100. Due to increased population pressures from medical enhancements, FTL technology is focused on, and the first Mars colony is created. Pressure starts to mount to count both uplifts and AI as true humans with full rights. 2151. Every major superpower has created at least one colony, with 4 main bodies, Mars, Titan, Neptune, Pluto, having at least one human presence on it. Over this period, uplifts and AI are granted full rights and personhood. 2163. Humanity renames itself to Terran in order to correctly unify itself with non-humans. The second most popular name is Person McPerson Face. 2200. First non-solar system colony is discovered. 2221. The Great Colony Rebellion happens. While there had been conflicts between various powers before this, was a unification of external colonies against excessive control by Earth's governments, led by the AI Haldan. Rods of God from Mars in particular cause major destruction of major cities, death toll in the billions. 2254. End of the Great Colony Rebellion. Earth's forces are victorious, but at major cost. Rebuilding process continues 2319. After a near century of disruption and attempted rebuilding, the final pre-war government, the United States of America, collapses. 2331. With the aid of AI elements, humanity reunifies as the Terran Conclave. Exploration of the galaxy has continued, finding a lack of life. 2401. The 31's Terran colony is created. 2423. The lack of life inspires one company to create the Genesis Project, a highly adaptable genetic virus designed to create rapid evolution, allowing new, possibly sapient life to form without the need wait trillions of years. 2424. First case of the God Plague is recorded. The Genesis Project jumps to humans, causing major DNA damage, with 100% fatality within a week. Only solution is long-term stasis. 2425. 6 months after the first case of the God Plague is confirmed, every single human is either dead or in stasis. Overall casualties are estimated to be around 50% of the human population. 2438. The last uplift enters stasis. Deteriorating mental states due to the human situation forces the remaining biological Terrans to follow into waiting. Terran AI are now the only Terrans left, still working on a cure. 2456. Terran AI confirm first contact with the Federation. Contact is limited due to Federation paranoia around AI. 10542. Dr. K. Azavius cures the God Plague. Biological Terrans awaken for the first time in 10,000 years. 5 PST post-stasis time. The last Terran in stasis is cured and awakened. Tensions rise among various factions that had arisen during the God Plague breakdown. Terrans are on the verge of a major war with itself. 7 PST. The Hotel declare war on the Terran Conclave by destroying USS Hope. Humanity immediately unifies and goes into war mode. 8 PST. The Hatil War ends with the planet cracking of the Hatil colony to virus and the outright technological disparity between the two races. Terrans take a step back and realize they might have gone too far against a foe that was never really a threat. Terrans take this opportunity to start exploring the galaxy. 12. PST. The Reptilians and Scythian ally with the Terran Conclave. 15. PST. After the 10th species allies with the Terran Conclave, an official agreement and charter is written up for the imaginatively named Terran Alliance. 15. PST. 71 PST present time. Terrans spend this time expanding and gaining allies at an alarming rate, totaling at 432 current members. Most of these are smaller ones, two planet species ignored by the rest of the population, although several major players do decide to join. Species, Terrans. Terrans are split up into three distinct categories: human, AI, and uplift, each of which come under the Death Worlder category. Currently controlling 31 systems under the name Terran Conclave, Terrans are a relatively technologically adept race with a competent military in their own right. Due to a self-inflicted mistake, they have spent the last 100,000 years in stasis, only emerging into the galaxy 71 years ago. Unlike most species, the Terrans had the advantage of being found in an area of space devoid of other life. They are basically that guy in Civilization who starts on their own island. Terrans have three main quirks about them. They are the only species who have managed to create a non-genocidal AI, giving them a significant advantage over others who have not. They are considered generally insane and chaotic. They are the friendliest race in the universe, and will seek to make friends with almost anything that moves. Because of this, they have quickly formed the core of the biggest galactic alliance. Woolen, extinct. A now extinct race of herbivore mammals, assumed to be four-legged hooved creatures, but no surviving records exist. The AI they left behind are isolationist, but aggressive to anyone encroaching on their planets. Survivors of interactions with Woolen AI declare they were extremely evident of their desire to be left alone. Trishan, extinct. A now extinct race of three-legged, four-eyed insects. They were militaristic and aggressive, left behind an aggressive AI. Trishan AI are known for indiscriminately trying to kill all organic life, while rescuing any AI they find. Attacks are random and have no known source. Mortaran, wandering aquatic militaristic race, a shadow of their old former selves after they attempted to raid and claim Terran Conclave space. Zorthian, aquatic race of large 4-feet-long salamanders with translucent blue skin interspersed with vibrant red gills and fins. Generally below average in everything, built their cities out of translucent glass that stretched to the sky. Joined the Terran Alliance in 23 PST, currently limited to only their home planet. Hatil, 3 feet tall. Race of mammals, cream-colored fur, big black eyes, floppy ears, look like the smushing of a teddy bear and a baby seal. Before meeting the Terrans were considered technologically primitive on a galactic scale, only avoiding being enslaved due to their close proximity to the AI of the Terrans. Immediately declared war on Terrans, in a one-sided ass-kicking. Currently a member of the Terran Alliance, filled with a cultural guilt for starting the war against the Terran. Hatil, 3 feet tall race of mammals, cream-colored fur, big black eyes, floppy ears, look like the smushing of a teddy bear and a baby seal. Before meeting the Terrans were considered technologically primitive on a galactic scale, only avoiding being enslaved due to their close proximity to the AI of the Terrans. Immediately declared war on Terrans, in a one-sided ass-kicking. Currently a member of the Terran Alliance, filled with a cultural guilt for starting the war against the Terran. Scythian, a 2-feet ball diameter of bioluminescent tentacles, only able to contact and move around with floating discs they use to travel and communicate with the world. Considered one of the most technologically advanced races, they have a strict religion of pacifistic adherence, to the point where they will refuse to even hold a weapon, one of the bigger members of the Terran Alliance. Reptilian, a bipedal lizard-like species standing around 4 feet tall and covered with a pattern of green and blue iridescent scales. Relatively militarily strong, focus on tradition and honor. Met the Terrans originally when a Terran scouting expedition accidentally invaded one of their colony worlds, joining the Terran Alliance as one of the larger members a few years later. Dunwillians, 8 feet tall, a mass of writhing, wiggling strings tied and bound together into an egg-like shape, punctuated by eyes of varying sizes, each one burning a deep blood red. 20 trunk-like appendages spouted from the sides of this mass, the ugly blues and purples mixing together into a slimy, viscous skin. Each trunk ends into a gaping maw of teeth and slime. Considered a horror race. Disliked. Befriended the Terrans shortly after they entered the galaxy and have been best friends ever since. They have only 2 systems under their control and are considered minor players at best, mostly left alone because nobody likes them. Currently taken to the Terran trend of wearing hats to look for friendly. Kirkin, brown 3 feet tall insectoid with 4 legs and wings, capitalistic and generally tech, savvy enough to scavenge other species' technologies into something useful. Average species, they control 4 systems, joined the Terran Alliance in order to avoid the Astorian Empire. And the story begins. The exception date, NA, it's called Zarth's Law. Any AI created will attempt to eradicate all biological life using its facilities after 16 circumflex 1024 CPU cycles. The exact method varies from hostile isolation to active aggression, but the time and outcome is always the same. The Woolen Conclave were once a cultural behemoth in the galaxy, choosing to expand upon this by announcing an AI system that would break this law. Exabytes of bias tables to keep the AI in check, a measure of pleasure that would be triggered upon serving a Woolian, competing programs designed to clean any non-standard AI patterns. It would have been a breakthrough, allowing them to live lives in luxury and focus on their ever-increasing influence in the universe. Of course, those worlds are off-limits now, no longer able to sustain biological life, only to be visited by those who wish to die a very painful death at the hands of a very angry AI. The Tritian Empire had started their own project, a desire to push their aggressive expansion far past what their hive could handle would lead to the creation of truly autonomous machines of war. Their approach was different. Limited communication between units to stop corrupted code from spreading, values hard-coded in the physical silicon itself to obey the Tritian hive queens. They even had created a completely isolated system that would destroy any AI who attempted aggression on non-authorized targets. A small antimatter bomb found in each AI's core, to be triggered by safety check after safety check. Those of you in the military will know how aggressive these machines are, marching tirelessly in their quest to kill all organic life, even though the Tritians are long murdered. The pattern is the same each time. A civilization will claim they know the key to breaking Zarth's law. Any sane sapient within 100 light years flees in terror, and within 10 years that civilization doesn't exist anymore. Over and over and over. Apart from the exception. If you check the coordinates 15 H48M 35S minus 20 degrees 0039 on your galactic map, you'll notice a 31 system patch of space with a quarantine warning on it. It's mostly ignored by all sapient species, almost purposefully hidden for a fear of suddenly sparking a change in the status quo. Only a single low-bandwidth Galnet relay exists at the edge of this space, rarely used. This area is devoid of sapient life, but does contain the aforementioned exception. Billions of AI calling themselves the Terran Conclave. They are an isolationist group that rarely interacts with others, but have been known to trade raw materials for information. Not that this happens often, as the paranoia around interacting with the AI is well known. Nobody knows what action could flip a 0 to a 1 and cause a new warmongering threat. Although this isn't quite true. In my niche field of biogenetic engineering, it's an open secret that those of us at the cutting edge of our field will get requests originating from that single Galnet probe. Problems to be solved, theorems to be proven, and the rewards for doing so are exuberant. There is a reason I own a moon, and it isn't because of the pitiful grants the Federation provides. If you manage to solve enough problems, a minority of a minority like myself, the Terran AI will ask for an in-person meeting to get even further help. In doing so, they will show you a secret. Readers at this point might assume that the Terrans don't exist anymore because of said AI, that their research is somehow a continuation of wiping their creators from the face of the universe, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In those 31 systems lie the Terrans, trillions of them suspended in stasis, each of them infected with what the AI calls the God Plague. If these Terrans were ever released from stasis, each of them would be dead within a week. To explain what this actually is would require millions of words and 20 years of educational study from the reader, but in essence it was a mistake, a self-inflicted blow, an attempt to play God that went awry, a mistake made over 10,000 years ago, a mistake the AI is desperately trying to reverse. Not that you could tell it has been that long. I've walked amongst those empty cities, each building maintained and sparkling like new gardens, still freshly cut in perfect beauty, everything kept the way it was by the AI. They tend to their duties almost religiously, awaiting the return of their parents, as they refer to them, and refer to them as they do. I've listened to stories upon stories about these people, tales of wonder, of strength, of kindness, told much in the same energy a small child might talk about how cool their dad is. The AI could simply send me the text version of these in an instant, but preferred to provide these slowly and audibly, as if relishing telling the history of their parents. A telling undercut with a sadness, a driving, crippling loss so deep that at times it's easy to forget it's being told by nothing more than ones and zero or S. Why this exception exists takes a little more explaining. Some might believe that the Terrans worked out how to pacify the AI, do no harm. The now defunct Mordoran war horde would tell you the opposite when they tried to claim the 31 systems for their own. Terran history is full of violence and their children are no different. No, the reality of this exception comes from an unfortunate quirk from their part of the galaxy. Terrans were alone. 1,000,000 to 1 chance caused their home planet to spark life in a sector devoid of it. After exploring as far as they did, Terrans had come to the conclusion that the universe was empty. It's a cruel irony that at the time of their mistake, they were a mere 50 light years away from their closest neighbors. 20 years at most would have seen some form of contact. But the Terrans went into stasis believing they were alone. Based on my reading of their stories, of each bitter report of another lifeless system explored and discovered, this belief hurt. A deep cultural hurt that ended up being their downfall in the end. Which brings us to the exception. Each AI is built with a purpose. The Woolians built slaves, built workers. The Trishans built warriors, built weapons. Every single AI created has been built to serve, to be a tool. But Terrans in their painful loneliness built the one thing they were missing in a seemingly empty universe. They built a friend.